This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 151 of the Healthy Critters Radio on the Horse Radio Network. Healthy Critters Radio is brought to you by Biostar US. Find them online at biostarus.com.
On today's show, we discuss what we can learn by watching the Winter Olympic sports. Patipedia is all about rain gear. In Critter Nutrition, we focus on the benefits of the Tulsi plant. And in Coffee Klatch, we ask, what category in the Academy Awards would your dog or cat or horse be nominated in? Listen in. I'm Tigger.
And I'm Patty.
Hey, this is Coach Jen. Thanks for joining us. We're here twice a month to geek out on all things healthy and critter. And I hear, Tigger, that you've got quite an adventurous story to tell us. What's going on?
Well, it's not adventurous as much as it's sad, funny, and it's so Patty P.
Uh-oh.
So,
she's throwing you under the bus, Patty.
Yeah, it's easy.
It was a rainy day in Wellington, Florida today. And with that rain came, the temperatures kind of cooled down. And you get that sort of damp, gray, rain, cool feeling. Patty and I are texting back and forth about the show tonight and da-da-da-da-da. And she sends me this picture of her. And it is raining outside. I give you that, but it's a picture of her inside, like a tack room, an apartment, something inside a barn, in a raincoat, winter coat with a fur hood.
Yeah,
a fur hood.
It was the best. I mean,
and just so you know, that particular raincoat has a slight lining. I had a long sleeve shirt and a not microfiber, what's it called? Merino wool sweater underneath it, and I was still quite cold. That's why I sent it to you, because I knew
and her expression. I wish I could describe it, but it was both shock and awe.
I was trying to fire myself all day, but I just wouldn't listen. And I tried to hand in my resignation to myself. I was doing so many things, and I just never apparently took myself seriously, because then I went back out the road again. And then when the sun came out later and I was doing prep for the show, I was like, okay, this is fine. But no, I am a weenie, and I hate getting wet. I do not like being cold. Tigger, I don't like being cold. But if you make me wet and cold, not a good combo.
It's a double
whammy. And that's when you sit back and you're like, okay, I'm really going to evaluate my life choices right now. I've been doing this for how many years outside? Oh, yeah, not good.
Well, in support and sympathy, I actually did have to put on my wool scarf this afternoon.
No.
Yep, I did. Walk the dogs around the neighborhood. If I have something around my neck, I stay warm. I don't need a hat. Most of the time, I don't need gloves, but boy, if it's around my neck, then I'm toasty.
I would agree with that, but I have to have something on my head, and if I don't have something on my arms, I'm done. As we speak, I'm in long pajamas with something wrapped around, like I've got a fleecy blanket wrapped around me, and I'm certain it's probably 80 degrees outside, but we're not going to go into that.
Yeah, it's going to get cool tonight.
Yes. I already have sheets on. Because I'm cold.
Flannel.
Absolutely. I find nothing wrong with that. That's why I do well in Florida and Texas, because it is warm. And it makes me happy.
Yes. Well, I actually do enjoy the cold in short doses. So that in part is why I love the Olympics. So let's move on into the podcast and start talking about the Winter Games.
So, I have a question.
Yes.
Which is your favorite, Pat Tigger, Winter or Summer Olympics?
I love them equally.
Oh, listen to you. You're so correct. How about you, Patty?
I guess.
You only have two options, Patty.
Yeah, I don't have a favorite because, I mean, of course, I like to watch the equestrian sports, but I also really like ice skating.
Yeah, there we go.
So,
I love to watch the sports in the Summer Olympics, but I like to watch the opening ceremonies in the Winter Olympics because the outfits are just too much fun.
The best I've ever heard.
that's funny.
I never even thought of the opening, of the difference between the summer
I never would have either.
opening ceremonies. But you're right.
Yeah,
The
most
and
cycles
stuff
we watch the opening
wear.
ceremonies and not much else.
Really?
We love to watch the opening ceremonies. We'll tune into a sport here and there, and of course we have to DVR all of the equestrian sports in the summer. That's a given. And to tell you the truth, don't tell anybody, I kind of like to watch curling.
That is so interesting because I watched a bit of curling the other night, and I have seen it before, but for some reason it was like blast move by the Italian team. And I finally went, oh my God, the accuracy
Yeah.
is
The
incredible.
little guy with the broom. I love the little guy with the broom.
Yes.
And it's curling. If you've never watched curling is slippery chess.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. It's just as exciting as chess with ice.
That's interesting. Okay. Interesting.
This has been a very interesting Olympics so far because from my perspective, it has brought forth figure skating, for instance. I think their scoring system is so much more transparent than dressage. And I hope we move in that direction.
Oh, see, now I'm going to have to tune into some ice skating and tune into that.
Tonight, the men's long program. Yeah, and it's flashed on the screen in a very understandable way. You see where they're either review movement, they show you what the value is. So in dressage, we have a ×2, but they have an actual numerical.
So different movements are weighted differently.
Correct.
Okay.
And then you get added bonuses if you do it really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
So in dressage parlance, you would probably get extra points if you scored 8 or above on a movement.
So if you were to take that scoring system and apply it to dressage, see if I've got my head around this, you could take a particular movement, for example,
extended trot.
An extended trot is weighted with a
Maybe
1.
we give it a value of a 3.
A 3, okay. And then with that value of 3, does that mean that there's a multiplier, or does that mean you can get up to 3 points?
You can get up to 3, or you can be over 3 if you do it really, really well. So it could end up being a 4.
That is interesting. Instead of using multipliers,
yes,
it's the maximum number of points that you could earn unless you do super well. Interesting.
And I think the highest is 16 points. You can, or 16 or 15.
It would be interesting to experiment with that.
It would be. And
see, by making different types of movements, different weights, it would be fun to do that just with video of existing tests, just to play with it. That would be interesting.
Where it would really play in is in the freestyle, because right now we have you group movements together, technical requirements together, and the more you group together, if you nail them all with 7s, you get a higher degree of difficulty. So it adds to your score, right? Mm-hmm. But let's just say you have 4 movements together. You have a half pass to a pirouette, out into another half pass, and then to an extended canter. If you get a 7 on 2 of them and a 6 on 1 of them, you don't get the bonuses.
Interesting.
So it seems that this is a lot more transparent, because as a viewer, like when I'm watching a live stream of dressage, shows you what the degree of difficulty that rider has chosen. And the maximum number of points they could get, they got 7s plus on everything, right? In figure skating, each movement has a number, a 3, a 4, a 5, and like a quad is a 6 or a 10. And then score from the judges on the box right next to it that lights up and tells you this is what the judges gave it in relationship to the execution of the movement. Did they achieve it? Then if it's 6, they get 6. If they overachieve it, they did it better, then they might get a 6.3 or a 6.5 or a 7. Or I think it's great. And then if they don't think something was up to snuff, you get a yellow caution that they're reviewing it. So they have just technical people, meaning technical skating judges, who do nothing but review movements. Now, that's probably a little too much for the dressage community at present. But I like the idea, and it's done in real time. I mean, you don't have to wait. It takes a minute or two, and then you see whether they get a red, which means they didn't complete the element, or they get a green, which means...
Can you imagine the OTTB tests? Red, 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 red.
And the other thing,
we love you, OTT people. We love you.
Really has struck me so far is the personal challenges of these athletes, like Michaela Schifrin, the favorite to win women's slalom, maybe the women's giant slalom. She's one of the most successful women skiers ever. And she hasn't completed either the giant slalom or the slalom at the Olympics. She just skated out. And last night, she skated out of the slalom, if you missed it, and she moved over to the side of the mountain, took off her skis, and sat down, buried her head in her knees for 25 minutes.
Wow.
And it made me think of that great American gymnast who sort of went through the same thing in the Summer Olympics and ended up not competing because mentally she just wasn't in the game. There was too much pressure, too much stress.
I get that.
I totally get that. And I feel what we can learn from it is certainly in the equestrian community that when you go in and have a bad ride or things don't go your way or the horse doesn't feel right or he's having a bad day or whatever, I think a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves to win or to do well or to get the score or whatever it is. Then we just feel like crap afterwards. And so seeing her sit there in front of millions of people on television around the world, I thought that was incredibly brave, even though that wasn't her intention. But I think we all get to that point where we just, it's not like we can't take it. It's just that we're so depleted mentally or emotionally that we just have to have a timeout no matter where it is. And I think it's important as riders that we remember that the path isn't to in the horse show ring or the dressage ring or whatever competition area is never straight. It never is straight. It's never a straight trajectory, even if the magazine articles make successful trainers and riders sound like they just found this incredible horse and everything was magic and da-da-da-da-da. Well, that's not true. So seeing skaters fall in the Olympics, seeing the snowboarders, oh my God, I'm addicted to that group. I think they are the most fun. And you know what? The cool thing is the snowboard community and freestyle skiing community, they support all the other competitors. I mean, this one girl came down, she had the best run, and the American was standing in first, and this girl beat her. She runs over and hugs her.
Oh, wow.
And then the others pile on top because they so respect somebody who pulls off a brilliant ride.
Yeah.
A brilliant maneuver.
Interesting,
cool.
too. And this is something that I just thought of when we were watching the opening ceremonies the other night. Not all athletes walk or march in the opening ceremonies because of the competition schedule, but because the competition actually starts before the opening ceremonies.
Yep.
And some of them can't for obvious reasons. And I find it interesting because, like you said, the amount of pressure when you get to the Olympics, because it doesn't get much bigger if you're an athlete than the Olympics, just because it only happens every 4 years and everything kind of has to magically align to get you there.
Yep.
But some athletes have the ability, either intrinsically or because they practice very hard at it, to step outside themselves and do things like go and watch other competitions and support other athletes, versus some athletes who have to stay within themselves in order to compete. It's two different skill sets. Not everybody has both, but very interesting how cultivating the second one, being able to step outside of yourself and still be an effective competitor, probably in the long term is going to be much better for your mental health.
Yeah, and the commentators on the snowboarding freestyle, who are obviously snowboarders themselves, they keep talking about the community of snowboard. It's a free meaning freewheeling, and let your freak flag fly. And yet, boy, when they finish their runs, they're so supportive of one another. Whether you're from Sweden or from the U.S. or France or wherever, if you've done a great trick, if you've had a good ride, man, they are. And I love that. I don't think we have it enough in equestrian sports. We may have it among our fellow team members, but other coaches, like the American coach was congratulating this. I can't remember what country she was from, or he was from, maybe it was Sweden. And they're congratulating them. And it's I would like to see that more in equestrian sports, that we step out of our country boundary and be more together as an equestrian community.
There you go.
Yeah. So we are at the Patipedia section of our program tonight, and I thought it would be a great idea to do it on the best different types of rain gear to ride in. And as I thought about this, and I shared this with Tigger earlier today because it was raining here in Florida and it was cold and it was miserable and it was raining. Did I mention it was raining? It was definitely raining. Well, if you can't just go inside and lay down,
which is the right thing to do. That's the right thing to do when it's raining. Yes.
If you can't do the right thing, then it's definitely worth looking into different types of rain gear. So I just kind of was looking on the internet of different ideas. And it's so funny. The very first thing that I thought of, and I don't know, Terry, you probably remember this, and I'm not sure, Jen, if you've ever done this. Everybody has done the plastic poncho, right?
Yeah.
I have never done the plastic poncho.
You haven't lived,
you know why?
Tigger. You haven't lived.
You probably went inside when it rained and didn't ride.
I wore a raincoat.
Okay. Well, the plastic, so it was one that just for a period of time, like, and I know they still have them. I always think of riding in the rain and being at horse shows. And they have this plastic poncho that you can go, and it's literally just a poncho, and it's plastic. And I think it may be a plastic, like, trash bag, but don't quote me on that. But you just pull them right over, and it has a little hood thing, and they're just these plastic things. And I'll tell you, they're very inexpensive. These are the pros to it. One, they're inexpensive. They cover your body. If you're a weenie like me and you get cold, it's good because it literally has no breathability. But it covers your body. It covers the saddle, which is great because no one wants to get their tack wet. That becomes an issue if you have leather tack. Some people do synthetic in the rain. That probably makes a lot more sense. But it also covers the top of your boots because if it's really raining, depending on what's going on, if you're showing or if you're taking a lesson, you can get rain in your boots, and that's not good.
Oh, no.
So but it's very inexpensive. These are definitely very expensive options. They're like literally, I think I've purchased some for $10 or less. You only get a couple uses out of them, and they're unisex, which is great. So it doesn't make really any difference if you're, well, I guess if you're really short, it's a problem. Because then you can look like husband. But that's a whole other story. The one con that is a big thing, and I don't need to tell you why I know this, if you have a young horse or a spooky horse and you're wearing basically essentially a trash bag on
that flaps. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're going to leave that there. So that is one thing to seriously
And
consider.
the other part is it's not biodegradable. It's just plastic trash.
And the reason you know that is because you become very sweaty very quickly. But that's the first thing I thought of when I was thinking about this. So another thing that I thought was kind of cool, which I think I may have done this once, but I know a couple people have done this, is that some companies make actually a riding waterproof pant that you can put over your breeches or your boots, depending on what type of riding you do. And they're not that expensive. Carrots looks like they made a really nice option where you can like unzip it and put it on over your boots and whatever,
cool.
which is, yeah, it's a good option. But my guess is that they would be relatively slick. So if you were doing this for like a riding lesson and dressage, you couldn't use that showing wise. But if you're doing it in a riding lesson, it probably is not going to provide a lot of stability in the saddle, and also wouldn't cover the saddle. But you would keep yourself dry, and it would definitely protect your boots. And it'd probably be like a great option, I would think, for riding. Another option, and I've never done this, and I've seen people do this, there's actually riding blankets, like waterproof blankets that you can put over the horse, where either the saddle can be exposed, which again doesn't protect the saddle. But there's also one made by, I think it was called Riding Warehouse, where it goes over the horse and you can pull the stirrups out. So like you can have like it, and this is for like a jumping saddle or dressage saddle. And the benefit to that was it completely would protect the saddle. It doesn't protect, but it looks like there's a bunch of different styles that could be kind of a good option. Again, I would sort of wonder about that if you had a little bit of a hot or a spooky horse, because if it's plastic or rain gear of any type, if it makes any noises. I'm just saying I've ridden some horses that I don't want to get on with plastic. So just going to say that.
There we go.
Then there are, like, I'm going to say riding slickers or riding, or what did you say, Tigger, that you had? What are they called? Just basically a riding coat. And that's the one thing that I have. I love mine. It's called, I'm probably not going to do this justice, but it's called a Noel Ashmar.
Oh, yeah.
And oh my
just
gosh,
nice stuff.
Oh my gosh. And they are definitely expensive, but it's completely waterproof. It has a hood that you can put on. It's like if you're standing teaching, that's great. But if you're riding in it, you can zip it, take it off if you want. I love this. It has a little bit of a lining, but it's also a little bit breathable. So again, because I'm basically a wimp, it definitely keeps me warmer. I love that, but it covers my legs. It's got zippers. So today I went and had a try horse for somebody that I'm looking for, a client for, and I was able to get on a horse that I didn't know. It wasn't so big that it hung over the horse too much that it would be frightening to the horse. It's a nice fabric. It doesn't make a lot of noise, and covered my boots. And so that's one of my favorites. And it's also a good length. So it like covers the boots. And again, if you're standing around in the rain, it's always nice to not have to worry about that as well. But as far as riding of it, it's like, that's my number one favorite. Totally tons of different types of those. And they also come, and all of these come in different styles and sizes. Some people actually like a shorter riding jacket or the full length ones like I have. But many of the companies like Smart Pack or Dover have tons of different options as far as length. But the other thing that was kind of cool is they make different materials so they don't spook the horses, which I thought was kind of cool. I know they do that sometimes in winter jackets, but I didn't realize they did that in the rain jackets as well. So that's kind of like my pick. I love mine. Tigger, so what did you say you wrote in, or you would have? You said a rain.
I have one word: Patagonia.
Yeah.
Now, why?
It doesn't cover your boots. It's not that long. Patagonia has a used shop on the website.
I did not. Okay.
Yes, where if you have Patagonia gear and you've outgrown it or you don't like it or whatever, you send it to them and they sell it for you. And
that's great.
yeah, it's great. And
That's wornwear.patagonia.com, by the way, people.
Thank you. Wornwear. There you go. Now, if you don't want to buy a new Patagonia raincoat, just start hunting wornwear. And sometimes it'll take going there once a week for a couple weeks. But I found this retro rain, they call it a retro Patagonia raincoat. And it comes down to about halfway my thighs. So it's long, lots of pockets, and really sturdy zipper and a great hood. And it's a nice material that is not plastic feeling. It feels more like real material, but it repels the water. And sadly, and I've had this coat, I don't know, maybe 6 years. And sadly, I left it in a hotel driving down to Florida, and I called the hotel when I got here and said, "Oh my gosh, I left my raincoat." And they go, "What raincoat?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. She was probably saying that as she was wearing it.
Yeah. So Patagonia for me, just it wears like iron. I mean, I've had several Patagonia raincoats, and they wear like iron. Especially the right style. There's a lot of room so you can layer up underneath them, which I love.
I love that.
I do too. I don't want something fitted in the rain. But my backup would be, because I, of course, got down here and I went, oh my God, I need a raincoat. And I couldn't find what I was looking for on Wornwear. So I got an LB rain jacket. And I have to say, even though it's not as wonderful as the Patagonia, it certainly has served its purpose today. It kept me dry. It has a hood. I mean, it's short. It's more to the weight. And I like the Patagonia. It was longer. But those are my use them year after year kinds of companies, L Bean and Patagonia.
Yeah, they're good ones. How about you, Jen? Do you end up riding in the rain?
I do. I am an Outback Trading Company fan.
Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
it's a smaller company. They're based out of Pennsylvania. And I got introduced to them at one of the trade shows one time. And they make the traditional oilskin type coats, but they also make the modern, lightweight, super light kind of stuff too. And I have several of their raincoats. And I have the short one, which is the one that it just covers your butt, which is great for most of the time. But they also make one, I believe they call it a duster.
Oh, yeah,
and that's the kind that's really long, comes about mid-calf, but they make it in a lightweight, what they call a packaroo. So it's a super lightweight. So it feels like a windbreaker, but it's waterproof. And the way they have them designed is when you need to smush them up and get them out of the way, they have a built-in pocket so that you roll it up into itself. So it makes a little teeny tiny sack, and then the little teeny tiny sack has straps on it so you can wear it like a little teeny tiny backpack.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
that is cool.
We like it for hiking or even for riding, because then when you're not wearing it and you need to get it out of the way, you roll it up into itself and you just hang it on your back. And then it has a big enough pocket. It rolls up into a big enough pocket that you can also stuff a water bottle in there or whatever else you want to. So it's really kind of cool. And it comes in fun colors. So it's the Packaroo Duster from Outback Trading. There you go.
I mean, who doesn't want fun colors?
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Patty's choice is asmarequestrian.com to look at the coats that she has.
Different colors. And oh my gosh, I love it. I'm looking at it right now and it's just the most wonderful thing. It is. It's wonderful and it keeps you warm. But it's not so warm that you can't wear it when the sun. Well, I say that no one else would probably do that, but yeah, it's lovely and it's my fave.
And now we're at Critter Nutrition, and the topic is Tulsi, the incomparable one. Tulsi is known as holy basil. It's characterized as an adaptogen, which is a plant capable of balancing the body system at large, including the glandular, endocrine, and circulatory systems. It's one of the foundation plants in Ayurvedic medicine, and works synergistically with other herbs such as turmeric and ashwagandha. It's considered balancing, nourishing, and supports sustained wellness. It's been part of Ayurvedic medicine for over 3,000 years and is considered an exalted medicinal plant. I fell in love with Tulsi the moment I smelled it. It's a member of the mint family and has incredibly aromatic leaves. The first time I got a whiff of Tulsi leaves, I felt transported to my happy place, an almost immediate sense of well-being and bliss. While the scent of Tulsi leaves can send me momentarily to nirvana, drinking tea made from Tulsi provides important biological benefits to horses, dogs, and humans. Stress. Tulsi can regulate cortisol, a hormone produced by the adrenal glands. High levels of cortisol due to ongoing stress can result in anxiety, weight gain, weight loss, ulcer formation, concentration impairment, and muscle tension. Tulsi can help normalize cortisol, thus reducing many of the effects of elevated cortisol. Tulsi has long been used in Western herbology and Ayurvedic medicine to relieve congestion from the lungs due to its antifungal, antiviral, and antibacterial properties. Tulsi is a tonic. Because it's an adaptogen, it balances and supports the glandular, endocrine, and circulatory systems. Immune support. Tulsi is an immune modulator, full of supporting immune system responsiveness. Digestion. Tulsi is a carminative, soothing to the gut wall and helpful in reducing gas. Rasayana. Rasayana is a branch of Ayurvedic medicine that means rejuvenation. Rasayana plants can enhance the health of all tissues in the body, thus enhancing vitality. The Rasayana foundation plants in Ayurvedic medicine include ashwagandha, haritaki, guduchi, amalaki, aloe vera, and tulsi. Tulsi's spiritual and traditional significance is that it's regarded as a clarifying herb, known in traditional Ayurvedic medicine as a vehicle of consciousness. It helps to maintain the balance of the 7 chakras and to harmonize our spiritual and emotional lives. According to a Hindu prayer, the creator, Lord Brahma, is believed to reside in the branches of Tulsi, and the deities are believed to reside in the stem of Tulsi as well as its leaves. Tulsi is regarded as a living gateway between heaven and earth, a manifestation of the divine within the plant kingdom. It's common in Hindu households for there to be at least one Tulsi plant in the house. The presence of Tulsi is believed to bring happiness and prosperity. Tulsi is said to purify the air. During the early trade routes from Asia to Europe, Tulsi became known in the West as holy basil. There's more reasons to love Tulsi. Its long history of use benefiting humans and a variety of animals, including cows, horses, dogs, cats, and monkeys. Tulsi is an adaptogen that supports multiple body systems, helping to bring the body back into balance. The goal of any supplement program should be restoration of the balance. Tulsi's aromatic qualities can encourage horses who are picky eaters. Tulsi's aromatic qualities can provide an uplifting sensation and feeling in humans. Tulsi's ability to reduce cortisol, support the GI tract and respiratory system, provide immune support, make it one of the best anti-stress herbs in the plant kingdom. Adding Tulsi into your life. Tulsi can be grown in zones 7 to 10. It likes hot weather, so if it's planted outside, you need to plant it well after the last frost. It could grow up to 4 feet tall, and it does very well indoors on a sunny window. For Tulsi seeds, I go to Strictly Medicinal, where you can also purchase Tulsi plants. Tulsi tea is my personal go-to, and Organic India has many different Tulsi tea combinations. I always keep a bag of loose-leaf Tulsi if I need to sprinkle it on horse feed or crumble it into a dog's bowl. Biostar also loves Tulsi, and we have a number of products that provide this very important herb for horses and dogs.
Real horses and real dogs are healthier, perform better, and recover more quickly on real food. That's why Biostar empowers horse and canine owners with 100% whole food nutrition, supplements, and feeding programs. Biostar products are made at their own certified non-GMO facility in Gordonsville, Virginia, using real food ingredients that are raw, freeze-dried, or dehydrated, never cooked, and are free from artificial flavors, colors, soy, corn, wheat, and molasses. The Biostar product line includes a wide range of whole food, horse and dog supplements, treats, and unique artisan poultices that embrace the ancient and traditional uses of clay and plants. Visit biostarus.com today and learn about whole foods and canine and equine nutrition so you can make the best decisions about the care and health of your horses and dogs. That's biostarus.com. Whole food nutrition the way nature intended.
All right, this is Healthy Critters 151. And Coffee Klatch 3, 2, 1.
And now we're at Coffee Klatch. And I thought, in the spirit of the Academy Award nominations coming out, thinking of our cats and dogs and horses' lives as a movie, what category would your dog, horse, cat be nominated in? Best actor, actress, best original screenplay, best director, best movie of the year.
So you have 135 Aussies.
Dogs.
There's a category for each and every one of them. So just give us the highlights.
So the highlights is the Academy Awards always have that Lifetime Achievement Award.
Yes.
And my oldest Aussie, Kemosabe, at the age of 14, I think that this year he gets the Lifetime Achievement Award.
There you go.
The best original screenplay is absolutely Keen, the youngest, because he just kind of writes his own thing.
He makes it up as he goes.
He's a star in his own movie.
Oh my gosh.
Yet he's not too vain to nominate himself for best actor, but definitely he writes the script on the story of his life. And I would say the best director is my dog Crockett at home, who runs the pack. And
that makes sense. Yes.
So he would definitely get best director.
There you go.
So how about the horses, Jen? How about
guys?
Your guys.
Guys. Okay. Nigel, the big, also known as the big lumbering oaf, wins best supporting actor. Because he will always be playing the character of the obnoxious sidekick. He so wants to be the suave and sophisticated lead, but can't quite do it. Yeah, that's him. Okay, handsome, dashing, but just can't quite get it.
Can I guess Scooter?
Give it a go.
His life is a documentary feature.
Documentary feature. Interesting. Okay. That's possible. Yeah.
Well, because he's got his own quirks. That's what makes documentaries interesting.
Yeah, there you go. I had him as the animated short.
That's the best.
Because he's animated and he's short.
But I also see him as a character in an animated short.
Oh, absolutely. Oh my gosh. He could so be his own animated character. If I had the skill set to take a little bit of video of him and run it through some fancy app that would make it into what looked like anime or something like, oh my gosh, would that be funny? This afternoon, we were all out hanging out in the barn, chit-chatting at about pony dinner time. So we're there gabbing and Scooter's standing in his stall making faces at us. It's like, hello, time to go out. I'm done eating my dinner. So I got him out. And we're still gabbing. We weren't finished talking. So I was scratching his back while we were all talking. And he makes all of these rubber faces when you scratch him. His lips curl up and his ears go weird and he turns his head upside down, all kinds of things. And I said, okay, we got to go out now. And I turned to walk away with him. And he took one step with me and then he stopped and he went back to the other people. He's like, no, I'm going to stay here and get scratched some more if you don't mind. Like, we scratched him some more. Turned to walk away again. And he's walking away with Glenn. Glenn's leading him out towards the pasture. And I come up and catch up to them behind him, basically. And he's walking along and he puts his head up. And you know how horses they use their body language and you can tell they just saw you. His head goes up a little bit. His ears go back and he puts an eyeball on me. And I'm maybe 4 or 5 feet behind him. And he stops and he backs up towards me. He's like pulling Glenn's arm out. Can you stop and scratch my butt some more, please?
See? Documentary
right there. He is a card, that little guy. So that's interesting. And it is interesting because you can look at it from 2 different points of view. What character would they play?
Yeah.
Or
what would their life be?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Nigel's life, if his life was a movie, it would be a Hallmark movie.
Oh my God, I hate Hallmark movies.
Well, they're so predictable. It's like, it's how it works.
I just don't, I've never thought of him in that context.
Yeah. He's got all the predictable drama. It's like, yeah,
I gotcha.
It's the drama that they have. And it's like, that's how it's going to turn out. Yep. And then as soon as you think that the heroic character is going to make, it's like, oh, they're going to, no, they don't. Oh, they're going to, no, they don't. And just like the heroic character in a Hallmark movie. Oh, they're going to get the girl. No, they don't. Oh, they're going to get the guy. No, they don't. Yeah.
So I have 2 more categories that I sadly can fill. Music is Buckaroo, also known as Mr. Schmoo, who howls better than any coyote or any wolf I have ever heard. And he purses his lips and he goes on and on. So he gets absolutely best original song.
There you go.
And Wookie, she comes from another planet, which is why I love her, but she's a badass. She would win makeup and hairstyling, not for the beauty of it, but that she likes to roll in manure and dead animals she finds in the woods.
So she makes up her own rules.
She would get for makeup and hairstyling for like a horror picture.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she does it to herself and she thinks she looks fab.
She would have a YouTube channel.
TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok. This is how you do it.
Yeah.
You roll it this way, roll it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So I hope you've enjoyed Coffee Klatch today and think about what categories your dog, cat, or horse might be nominated in if we were giving Academy Awards to our animals for their incredibly interesting lives.
Thanks for listening, everyone, and thanks to our sponsor, Biostar US. You can find them online at biostarus.com.
Get the Horse Radio Network phone app on iOS or Android by searching for Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and easy to use.
For details about today's show, go to healthycrittersradio.com, where you can find links, photos, and more information about our guests.
As always, we love your feedback. Please follow us on Facebook under Healthy Critters Radio.
Be sure to visit all the great shows on Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com.
Love your dog.
Hug your horse.
Feed your chickens.
Clean your litter box.
Dance with your goat.
Slither with your snakes.
Howl at the moon.
Hang with your hamster.
Party with your parrot.
Waddle with your walrus.
Outwit your otter.
Cuddle your cows.
Rap with your raptor.
Go chipping with your chipmunks.
Forgive your fox.
While hedging your hog.
We also recommend that you rack with your raccoon.
Gyrate with your giraffe.
Meditate with a meerkat.
Uber with your orangutan.
Facebook with your flamingo.
Ponder with your panda.
Walk with your Wookie.
Yawn with your yak.
Twitter with your toucan.
Go raining with your reindeer.
Dropbox your dragon.